What's up, everybody, and welcome back to the channel. It's Linora from linoralo.com. I talk and I coach people for a living, and today I'm really excited because on to my on to my left, on
Oh,
my
I'm there.
left.
I'm there. Okay, hi.
Yeah, I,
Oh, hi.
yeah. You look to your right.
So
I
I
got
look
a
at right here,
good
lah. That means you're here.
yes,
Okay,
correct.
hi.
Wait, no, I looked that way. Yes,
Okay.
I got a good friend of mine. This is Adam Lobo from Adam Lobo TV, and we've known each other for quite some time, right, Adam?
Yeah, very long time, way back in the Astro radio days. But unfortunately or fortunately, we don't know because we never got to work with each other. So
Yeah, actually, we
which
just
is
said
one of
like
the
hi byes. I saw
it's
you
always been high
at
by. Mm.
yeah, but it's only I think quite recently that I got to know you better and we actually got to working with each other a little bit more too. And finally, we're doing a collaboration. Why? Because he started getting into the YouTube scene. And dude, actually, when I first had my real conversation with you was actually at the YouTube
Yeah,
awards.
I have to thank the YouTube Malaysia team for that. I was so close on not making it because the amount of work that I have. But I'm glad I went there, and I actually almost forgot that you left radio when I came there. When you said you got your own YouTube channel, I was like, all right, cool. I remember we was lining headphones and stuff. So yeah, I'm glad that after so long, actually it's quite a while. I think what last year or something. I'm
Last year,
glad
yeah.
that it was last year, right? So I'm glad that we finally have, uh, the collaboration done. But of course, we'll be having interesting conversations about me not having enough sleep and stuff. But yeah, I think this session is going to be a very interesting session for those of you who want to know a bit more in terms of the whole YouTube world, lah.
Adam has been such a helpful person in teaching me things about how to get my channel going into where it is right now. I mean, I'm not anywhere big, but at least it's growing and I'm very happy. And just the little tweaks that you've given me, right, Adam, has really changed little things. I mean, like
I'm so
doing
glad
this
to
right
hear
now.
that. Yeah, because
Yeah.
when I started off YouTube in this country, I'm not going to name names lah, but there was always mixed reaction from people. A lot of people was like, "Huh, you're quitting your day job to do YouTube full time? Can survive, meh?" And everything I learned online. But what you learn online, it is very catered towards the international. Like there's so many channels in the US and all which talks about, how to build your channel. But what is in the US and what works in the US or UK, Australia, whatever, it does not necessarily exactly works here in Malaysia. So I had to learn it
Correct.
the hard way, like Kira. So I get excited when I meet friends like you or anybody who wants to come out with a YouTube channel. I say, go ahead and do it, especially at this point in time where everything is online. This is the best time for you to start. You need to start now. So, yeah.
YouTube in Malaysia is still very in its early stages. There's still a lot more chances for
Mm,
other YouTubers to grow.
yeah.
And besides, right now, I
Yeah.
think the number one platform that everybody is watching to learn stuff or anything at all is YouTube. So, with that,
Exactly.
guys, today's
Mm.
topic is the do's and don'ts of starting a YouTube channel. Brought to you featuring Adam Lobo. Hey, this way, this way.
Okay.
Okay. How did you get into YouTube? And you mentioned it very briefly just now that
Uh,
when you first wanted to get into it, people were saying like, ah, why you want to leave your full-time job? How did Adam Lobo TV even start to getting to the 36 over 1,000 subscribers that you have now and growing?
Um, it started off because I have to be honest here. No point I bluff anyway. It started off because my passion towards my day job was not something which I had that smangat and the fire, and I tried to make it work. And eventually, I realized that I was not exactly in a happier state in terms of my day-to-day job. I believe that every work that you need to be happy. I was
Hmm.
not to say like completely like like unhappy that I want to kill myself kind of unhappy, but it was towards a point whereby like my passion for the specific work which I was doing was not up to what I like to do, and I also wanted to create something which is my own because before this I was known as I am still technically the lead singer of the band Dragon Raid, the rap metal band.
You can try to chase me down. Are you craving for some more?
And I needed to do something which is not beyond. The reason why the band went on the hiatus is because of the fact that we have other individuals. We started off when we were 19 years old, and the smangat dies off. So I needed to do something which is beyond my control. So which means that if I want to release like like tons of material. I can do it based on my pace. And I've always been a fan of tech. I absolutely suck when it comes to writing articles. I still suck at writing captions. I sometimes ask my friends, hey, bro, this caption okay? I'm not kidding. But I knew that I could talk. And the only way for me to do that is actually to kind of come up with a video content. But the problem is that I do not know anything about cameras, and that is why YouTube came, and I learned everything on YouTube online, what cameras to get and all, which I am also going to talk about right now to let you guys know what is the do's and don'ts, like what you mentioned, to go through what are the things that he's having lah. So yeah, in a very quick nutshell, because of that, that's why I created Adam Lobo TV, because again, I wanted to do something which is within my control at the same time, because my passion has always been tech, and I wanted to do something where I want to help people make a purchase decision, and that's the reason why I'm doing what I'm doing right now lah.
Awesome. I mean, that's also one of the reasons why I like doing reviews on my channel. But okay, just real quickly before that, was it a scary transition? Like, you don't know when stuff is going to happen. You don't know like
Yeah.
how to make it grow. What was that thought process like?
I knew that I could not immediately make money. I knew that I need to build the content. I needed to worry about what kind of content I needed to do. It took time. I actually started off doing smart home content first because I love smart home stuff a lot. So
Okay.
when I started doing the smart home stuff, I was a bit like, okay, I know that I could not make money. So I was like, you know what, I'm just going to do this first and see how it goes. And when I quit my day job, I was not earning money at all on YouTube. I actually quit because I just wanted to concentrate on it. I had some money which I kept, just in case like your rainy weather. And at the same time, I was doing hosting. So I was like, I can do freelance hosting, freelance events and stuff for me to kind of earn the money while I do the YouTube channel. It's only when year 2, which is last year, it's only where I started earning money. So it was like 1 full year of not earning a single money. It also comes down to your content, which I'll talk about later on as well. So yeah, I mean, it was a scary process, especially when I was speaking to the family. I was like, I'm going to do this. Family was very supportive, but it is the certain individuals within the industry who was not really keen in terms of their opinion on what I wanted to do. They was like, bro, but you have a very good stable income in your day job. Why would you want to quit that? For me, it's because I just lost the passion and I found a new passion which I absolutely love.
hmm And that's why people go and check out his channel, Adam Lobo TV. If you do like this video, give it a thumbs up. All right, now let's go into what should we take into account? What are the first things to look at when you want to start a YouTube channel?
Coming from a person who created a YouTube channel from scratch, meaning like have no info at all. I don't know anything when it comes to camera gear and stuff. Contrary to popular belief, right, the first thing that you should invest is not a very good camera, is actually a very good audio system, which means a very good microphone. Now, microphones can vary. I actually spoke to you about microphones. You actually have a very good device, which is actually on the way. If you can switch screen, I'm actually going to quickly... Yes. Oh, it's there. Oh, it's there. Okay, very good. Okay, good.
I just haven't plugged
I'm
it
going to
yet.
switch screen to one of the affordable options that someone can go through. So, okay, this is actually Boya. Boya is like your so-called cheaper version of Rode, which you have right now. So it has a cardioid mic. A lot of people use this for vlogs and also for the front camera shots. As long as you have a very good distance within a microphone, this one connects directly either to a camera or even your smartphone lah. So that is something which I would say you can go. The reason why I have this screen flow over here is for those of you who want to, maybe take a screenshot or maybe kind of refer balik with this video. That would be more like a wired option whereby like, you connect it to your smartphone or you connect it to a DSLR camera and then you have like, something which is close. However, if you do something like what you do, Linora, like for example, you do workout videos and you just want that so-called peace of mind of not having like,
Wire.
like a wire coming out from the microphone connected to yourself and stuff like that, or even up there,
Yes.
you can actually go with what you've just bought, which can be a bit expensive for some. So this is the Rode Wireless Go, which is a highly recommended product. It's a very versatile, high quality microphone. For the Rode Wireless Go, the prices vary. I mean, like how much did you get it for, Linora?
I got it at such a bargain because when I got it was just before
Mm.
the distributors were saying like they're going to increase price. So I got it
Yeah,
at
I know because I was shocked when I saw
650.
the price. I'm like, huh, 700? I remember it was like 690 or something like that.
Yeah.
So now when I saw it's like 770, but what to do? But these are from a reputable brand lah, like Camera to You. I know they've been around for quite a while right now. But you can find this secondhand maybe on like places like maybe Muda or Carousel. Maybe you might get it for a very good price. So that would be for the audio department again, because you know why? In a very quick nutshell, why audio is more important than video per se is because why is that podcast? Because podcast is audio. People can listen to a very good audio with like you close your eyes, you listen to audio, it's good, it's fine. But imagine like your video is so good and your audio totally sucks, people would not watch your video. That is true. You just think
Right.
about it. It's like your audio quality is so good, and then your video. I mean, your video quality is so good, but your audio is not good. There's not point, no point. So that is
Right.
the reason why I always tell people make sure to invest on a very good audio. There's so many different versions, but like I said, I think what we can do is that we want to keep the video short. So if you have any other questions to ask about audio or any ones of the ones or anyone so that we actually going to feature over here, let us know at the comment section below and we'll be answering them lah. So that would be for the audio. Then the next thing that I would say, which I also spoke to you about, Linora, is actually about lighting. So, I remember that you gave me a personal call and it was going through your lighting options, and we were going through what would be good. And I think video lights are super important. That again, it is the second, not even the camera. A lot of people are like, huh? So I don't need to get a good camera? Wait, audio is first of all very important. Second importance is actually the lighting. Currently, like I have a bunch of lighting, one shining on the ceiling, another one shining at the back of my head, another one shining over there, and I have all of this. The reason why is because no matter how good of a video camera that you have or a DSLR camera, if your lighting is not good, you will have grainy images. You just won't have the very nice texture. And that's the reason why even smartphone cameras, if you put a lot of light in the smartphone camera, like you take daylight shots, it's so good, but you take night shots, it's alamak, why is it so noisy? It's because of the type of light. This option is actually a light box. It does not matter in terms of the brand. I think what you need to make sure is that you try to get our daylight. So this 5500K is not like it costs 55,000, come down. It actually is the color temperature. Now, the ideal color temperature is actually 56,000. I sound like American, 56,000 or whatever. But 55,000 to 56,000 is totally fine. And that's why you get your pure white daylight. And you can use the most horrible camera on planet Earth. Your videos will still look good. Now, why do you need something like a softbox instead of typical LED light? Is because it actually kind of like it actually like softens the whole light as well, and that's the reason why softbox is way much better compared to having like a harsh LED lighting. So it gives a very nice when it goes on your face, it gives a very nice skin tone, which gives you a very nice pleasing. I know I've been saying very nice like 10 times, but yeah. It's very important for you to have good lighting because it flows on your skin. It goes on your skin when you take product shots or you take shots of yourself. That is something which you can actually consider. Now, all you have to just put there is lighting, softbox lighting. It can be the reason why I put Shopee because I'm the Shopee host, so I don't want to put anything else. Because I am very loyal. But yeah, you can actually go on any other e-commerce sites and just type there lighting softbox or video lighting softbox. You see that? For example, like right now, I have the reason why I did not like this one light, but it's shining above the ceiling to create a bounce light so that it flows nicely on my skin tone as opposed to typically just going directly on my face. So that's why you have like very harsh lighting. It is not very pleasing. At the same time, it does not complement your look and your skin. Yeah. So I would say to get a very good softbox. Or you can even go for the ring light. So you bought your ring light, but right now apparently with a stand is only going for 68 ringgit. That's actually quite cheap, though.
Stab my heart. Stab my heart.
Right? So
I
I'm
bought
shocked.
mine for like crap, 200 plus 300 like that.
I think a lot of people will ask like, hey, so what's the difference between a cheaper one? How do I know which is the right one? This is going very technical. But what you can see is that you need to make sure that, again, color temperature, you can see like here, there's a color temperature between 33 100 to 56K, so that is fine. But as long as you have this, you should be fine. There's also another very interesting way for you to see. It is not here because I guess this is a cheaper option. There's this thing called CRI, whereby like CRI, let me see what CRI stands for.
Bro, you learned all this by yourself, or you knew about
Yeah, so it's
lighting?
no. I learned myself on YouTube. So it's called color rendering index, right? So this is actually a very important thing if you guys are looking for a very good lighting, if you want really high quality lighting lah. So the CRI index, you need to look at maybe above 90, which is usually you can find like the best would be like 95 plus lah. So if you can look at it, but like for example, like here you cannot find it. What you can do is call this like message them and say, hi, what is the CRI value for this? If they cannot answer, means then don't buy it from them lah. So you know that they're just selling it for the sake of selling it. But like I said, if you go with the softbox option like this, the CRI lighting is not that important because you're actually softening the light with this box over here, so it is totally fine. And yeah, so for me it's like, get a soft box, or if you don't have enough space within your room, like for example you're using the ring light, make sure you position it yourself, or maybe you dim it accordingly, especially for the ones which you can dim. So like for example, maybe this one you cannot dim, you get what I mean or not? So maybe this one you cannot dim, so that's why it's super cheap. So you need to actually look at all these kind of options before you actually buying it lah. So like here they just said, okay, it's power 5 watts, USB cord. USB power cord, walao eh. How much of
USB power cord.
Yeah,
I don't think that
I
can't
don't
be
trust it
good.
also.
Yeah, I also don't
Yeah,
trust it
man.
already.
Yeah, so yeah, I mean, like you need to ask all of these questions lah when it comes to this. And for me, the safest bet, and if you want very good quality, I think just go with a light box. I like this one specifically from, like I said, this is you can see like down here I put here like it uses E27 socket with EU plug, so you're having the Malaysian ones. The dimension is 50 by 70 centimeters, very nice. Also including an umbrella holder, because one of the ways is you can use the bulb by use umbrella to soften the light, white color umbrella. And you can see that it has a color temperature of 55 K. And the best part is that it also comes with an option like you can get the soft box and also together with the lighting stand. RI lighting is not that important because you're actually softening the light with this box over here, so it is totally fine. And yeah, so for me it's like, get a soft box, or if you don't have enough space within your room, like for example you're using the ring light, make sure you position it yourself, or maybe you dim it accordingly, especially for the ones which you can dim. So like for example, maybe this one you cannot dim, you get what I mean or not? So maybe this one you cannot dim, so that's why it's super cheap. So you need to actually look at all these kind of options before you actually buying it lah. So like here they just said, okay, it's power 5 watts, USB cord. USB power cord, walao eh. How much of
USB power cord.
Yeah,
I don't think that
I don't
can't be
trust it
good.
also.
Yeah, I also don't
Yeah,
trust it
man.
already.
Yeah, so yeah, I mean, like you need to ask all of these questions lah when it comes to this. And for me, the safest bet, and if you want very good quality, I think just go with a light box. I like this one specifically from, like I said, this is you can see like down here I put here like it uses E27 socket with EU plug, so you're having the Malaysian ones. The dimension is 50 by 70 centimeters, very nice. Also including an umbrella holder, because one of the ways is you can use the bulb by use umbrella to soften the light, white color umbrella. And you can see that it has a color temperature of 55 K. And the best part is that it also comes with an option like you can get the soft box and also together with the lighting stand. When it comes to the camera, for example, you have your smartphone camera. Okay, so everybody knows how to use a smartphone camera. So if you're just starting out and you feel like you don't have money to buy camera, use the money, or have very limited money, use the money on audio and lighting. If you have a bit more extra money, then get a camera. Otherwise, just use your smartphone camera. Now, a crash course on cameras, there is DSLRs, there is mirrorless, and also the cinema cameras. That is just to keep it as simple as possible. In between, you got all these Ganas cameras and stuff, but it does not matter. DSLR
Mirrorless,
is
DSLR, cinema.
so DSLR cameras is more like the cameras whereby it comes with a very huge body, and there is like your typical ones are like you find like the 1DX Mark II or your Canon 5D Mark III and Mark IV and stuff. So that is what you have. So that is a DSLR camera. And then you have mirrorless. Mirrorless literally means got no mirror. So instead of reflecting a mirror to the sensor like how DSLR cameras is, they actually take out the mirror to go directly. So whatever image that you capture goes directly to the sensor, and that's the reason why they can do a smaller form factor. But that also means that the amount of detail that you get is lesser when it comes to that. And then cinema cameras is of course the ones which you use for Netflix, you use for documentary and stuff like that. Now I say that at this point of time, prices are going down low. I would say don't get a DSLR, get a mirrorless because of its smaller form factor, and the quality of mirrorless cameras right now, when it was first introduced to right now how it is, it's really crazy. It's super good. So you can look at so many options. Canon has, it all depends on what kind of content you create. If you need a lot of autofocus, Canon is the best when it comes to autofocus. Sony's autofocus is good, but Sony does not have a flip out screen. So if you're okay to put in another additional monitor above your camera, or you want to use your phone as your monitor, it's fine. So I would say maybe try to go with your Canon or your Sony cameras. Canon will be easy because you can just flip out the screen. But I now own the Canon camera. My first camera was a Panasonic GH4, which has so seriously dumb autofocus. But the reason why I went with that is because I like the Panasonic colors as a bit more compared to the Canon, and it was way much cheaper also because I started off a bit more cheaper. So so for me, again, in a nutshell, go with your phone camera if you don't have the money because you spend it on the lighting and audio. And then your secondary option would be go with a mirrorless camera. Don't look at cinema camera. Don't be an Adam Lobo yet. Because for me, I am so obsessed with quality of camera. I spend more money on my camera gear more than anything. I don't even spend on my food that much. Or even like my clothes. So I actually just posted about how I spend like 9 ringgit per baju.
If people say they have a GoPro, how is using a GoPro for whatever that we do?
I don't recommend using a GoPro because it looks like an action sequence. And also because it had such a wide field of view, it'd be good, maybe GoPro good for vlogging, that is fine. But if you're going to do more like static shots like this, I wouldn't recommend a GoPro because GoPro is been around for a very long time, and people look at footage, it's a GoPro already. It's not like a new technology. And for people who consume media, why? Okay, you have to think about it from a viewer's point of view. Why isn't it like you don't see shows on Netflix using a GoPro? Right? Because that is not our normal field of view. We need to watch something which is a bit more real. If you're going to use a GoPro, you can, but I would say try not to, because GoPro is also very limited. You need to get like a bunch of stuff to connect your audio into it. And also GoPro does not have a very important feature, which I think is to actually increase your quality, is to have a nice shallow depth of field. GoPro, because it's so wide the lens, you don't have a better aperture. Aperture means the amount of light goes in, like your blurred background. Like, so like for example, now I take this phone, if I put it here, it is sharp, right? But if the further I go, it's blur. So this is because I'm in focus, and then what you have at the back is in blur. So you only can capture that with mirrorless or DSLR cameras only. So if you have a GoPro, you have like everything is in focus. It kind of makes the overall quality of the video looks a bit cheap lah. And if you're going to use a GoPro, I would think use a smartphone camera, which even right now, some smartphone cameras have a good shallow depth of field because of the aperture value. So like for example, like the Samsung Galaxy phones, they have like 48 megapixel, 100 megapixel, but the aperture value is f1.8, f1.7. As opposed to a GoPro, is usually everything is focused. If you really have a good smartphone camera, you can actually use that. I would say use a smartphone camera more than a GoPro, just for the sake of quality content lah. Yeah.
And since you're the tech guy, right now, what is a good smartphone to use for video shooting, for photos? You've gone through so many. I'm sure you've
Very good question. Very, very good question. I think it depends on what kind of content you do. You need to look at image stabilization and all. But for 2020, at this exact date, the date is 10th of May.
You might as well get a gimbal.
No, you don't need a gimbal anymore because a lot of new phones right now, the image stabilization is really good. Rear camera, if you're in the iOS ecosystem, you all know lah. You all just get an iPhone, you're done. Because no point you want to switch to Android. But Android, you have like myriad of collection of phones, right?
Right.
Based on my test, if you are taking video, I love the front video camera for the Samsung phones, the flagships. Like for example, the Note 10 onwards, front camera because it uses 4K video recording is really amazing.
Oh, okay.
The rear camera for a lot of good rear cameras, but front cameras, I would totally recommend Samsung's front camera. The new P40 Pro from Huawei's front camera is finally improved in terms of their recording for video. I'm talking about video only lah. And Xiaomi's rear cameras is actually quite good. Like for example, their flagship like the Mi 10 and all. In terms of picture, is different. Like picture, I would give it for Huawei P40 Pro, the Vivos, and also Oppo's. But when it comes to video, I really love the quality coming out from specifically for the what you see in Samsung phones. And to me, I actually did a comparison video last time. I think like somewhere mid last year between the Note 10 Plus versus the iPhone 11 Pro. And while the whole world thinks that the iPhone has a better video camera, in that video, which sadly did not do well, like 1,000 over freaking views. I'm like, what? But I really, because I put a lot of effort in that video and I did show an exact comparison, because a lot of people says that the iPhone has better video camera for the rear, but you're not realizing is that once you put it in your computer and you see exact difference between both, you can see which is better. Because you're looking at the screen and you'll be like, wow, it's very nice here. It's because it's a combination of a screen and also what you see. I still feel like the Samsung series, like the Note, especially Note series, the S20 series, I got mixed feelings. The Ultra is damn good, but it's very expensive. But the S20 series, I still recommend people getting the Note 10 Plus. So yeah, so for me, I guess, and also Instagram, if you are kind of content creator, there's a lot of Instagram work. The Instagram, last time only iOS devices had good with Instagram. Right now, Samsung is very, very good with it. Oppo and Vivo, and I think all the other phone manufacturers is also very fine when it comes to
So let's go
video.
and where right now. Okay, let's talk with just front camera. The one you recommend is the Samsung series,
Yep.
Samsung Note series, and even the Huawei P90 is Pro. Is that it?
P40 Pro, the
P40.
new one. Yeah.
Okay, so those would be the two that you recommend for front camera.
Yes, betul.
Okay,
Rear
cool.
camera, there's a lot I think a rear camera, you can't go wrong with the
Yeah,
Vivos and the Realmes and the Xiaomis of the world. I think it's totally fine. But because when you want to do content, you want to look at yourself, I mean, like you
yes,
can't be taking a phone and just going like that.
yes.
So
That's why I was asking specifically now, I'm asking for the front camera, and I'm glad you mentioned that
yes,
because,
betul.
like, I mean, if I were to do it, like, for example, today, I wanted to go live, right? And after a while, I just got so fed up because, if you want to do the rear view camera, you got to go and search and then see whether it's fine. But if you do front camera, you see everything and you know from there, which is why, like, my camera, the one that I use is the one with the flip. So at least I can see what I'm shooting,
Yeah, correct. That is very
right?
important, especially when you're starting off, because you don't have somebody to do that, and it's very hard. I remember when I started off, I mean, this is just me giving experience on how I went through with this. I remember there's few times, right, when I finished recording, I realized I was not even in focus.
Alamak!
I finished shooting the thing 1 hour plus. I was sweating my ass off, and I'm like, yeah, then I have to re-record. There's ones whereby I forgot to turn on the audio. So it's always better because when you have a front screen, you know that you are in focus, you know you're in frame. And I go, one's damn funny, because I have this, I don't know if it's disgusting or not disgusting, but I have this dandruff issue sometimes. And there's this one video, the whole video is dandruff on my freaking eyebrow. And after I recorded, I'm like, holy crap, what? Then I had to re-record again because I'm a perfectionist. So yeah, I think it's very important for you to look at yourself. And the screen also, which you see, it needs to be big enough for you to know this kind of details other than seeing whether or not you're in frame.
What about editing software?
Wow, okay, that's a good question. I didn't even put it in my checklist of stuff. editing software, it all depends on what are you familiar with. So like, for example, even for me, the early Dragon Raid days when I used to edit videos for our documentary behind the scenes when YouTube was not even famous yet, I
Be
actually
real.
got, my second album, I did like 13 episodes of behind the scenes recording, and this was before even Google bought YouTube. And when I did that, I used a typical handy camera, and I used to edit it on iMovie. So I've always
Yeah.
been a Mac user, right? So,
Okay.
and from iMovie, I transitioned to, I tried, when I started off YouTube, I tried using Premiere because buying a Windows ecosystem is way cheaper than a Mac. And I just couldn't feel right with Premiere. Premiere just didn't really like went well with me. And so I tried Final Cut Pro. I find it way much easier. Very similar to iMovie. A lot of people don't like Final Cut Pro, but I love it. But if you are starting out and you don't have money to buy a Mac and you want a free software, I highly recommend, not because I use their cameras, I highly recommend Blackmagic's DaVinci Resolve because it's free.
Oh,
And it is a
yes.
very good combination. It's a very good middle ground between Final Cut Pro and also Premiere. You have like your edit tab, and the best part is free. I don't know how these people make money. And an interesting background, because I spoke to the Blackmagic guys from Singapore, because their main office is Singapore. They actually came all the way to come and see me because they couldn't believe that the type of content I'm doing for YouTube, I'm using a Blackmagic camera, which is overkill. But they were like, they were quite happy with my work lah. So he actually told me that actually this DaVinci Resolve was a company which have been around for a long time, this software, and it was millions of dollars. And they bought it and decided to give for people for free. And so imagine that.
Wow.
There is limitations there's a paid version and non-paid version, but the non-paid version, you can at least edit up to 1080p, which is still standard people using that. But if you want to go through 4K, if I'm not mistaken, because I have the paid version, because if you buy any Blackmagic camera, you get the full version for free. So I have 3 Blackmagic cameras. So I have the software lah. And then so the thing is that when it comes to editing software, if I started off and DaVinci Resolve was already available at how it was now, I would go with DaVinci Resolve. But because I've already got used to the workflow of Final Cut Pro, and the background rendering is amazing because I shoot in 6K resolution and I edit on Final Cut Pro, and the background rendering helps me to edit the videos properly. So I would recommend Final Cut Pro, but again, that is my choice. I know a lot of good people who are actually using Premiere. So it all depends on what ecosystem that you come from. If you are very used to Windows, try out Premiere. But if you're on a Mac, don't try Premiere. Just go to Final Cut Pro. Then, but
Yep.
if you don't have the money for an like a NLE software for editing, then try out DaVinci Resolve, which is available both for Windows and also Mac. So try that first because that's a free software.
Awesome. Well, one day we might actually do another video since I use Final Cut Pro. I tell you, bro, you don't know how happy I was that I finally found another person that used Final Cut Pro, because everybody was like, no, 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 I use Premiere Pro. I'm like, you
Yeah,
can't
that's a very
help me
interesting
with any
conversation.
of my
Yeah.
my problems. Like today I had
That's why
massive problems.
that's why I have problems until today trying to hire a freelancer, because everyone I know was using Premiere. There's 1 or 2 people who are actually content creators on YouTube who actually uses Final Cut Pro, and I can't be asking them to freelance for me because they have their own content to create, right? So the only reason why is because of Mac is expensive. Final Cut Pro's price 1,002 only, which I think is okay if you're going to use that
It's
as your
doable.
main thing.
Yeah.
And it's not like you're paying it monthly like how Adobe does with their suite, right? So for me, I think that Final Cut Pro is a very good investment, but you can't buy a MacBook Air. You can't buy a MacBook 13-inch. You need to buy a MacBook Pro, at least like your 15-inch or 16-inch, in order for you to really take full advantage of what Final Cut Pro offers, or maybe again iMac. So that's the only reason. But once you go through that phase of having the right hardware of and a Mac OS, not iOS, then you should be totally fine. But yeah, I mean, I totally agree. And I actually influence a lot of people to switch from Premiere to Final Cut Pro. Some
Oh, you
people who got like
converter,
hundreds and
you.
thousands of subscribers more than me. I was like, bro, you're right lah. Final Cut Pro is a bomb. I said, yeah, hopefully I can get commission from it lah. Yeah.
Okay, so right now, like I said, we should do a video next time on Final Cut Pro by itself. All the headaches, or all the problems that we probably could go through. And
Yep.
I really hope it's going to help people, because that's one of the few things if we are not able to fix certain issues. So, okay, now coming to the do's and don'ts of YouTube, you wanted to speak about content.
I think one of the things that I really learn first and foremost is that make sure to stick to your niche. You need to make sure to have a goal on what kind of content you need to create. So if you're going to be about like the more niche you go, you grow slower, but you get proper people who really love your content. So like I said, I started off smart home, and then I realized that the audience is coming from the US, not from Malaysia. And when I started doing smart phones, that's where I started getting a bit more traction. So I just stuck with that until today. Sometimes I feel like doing so. Like for example, yesterday I released the AirPods Pro video. The views is not as good as my typical smartphone videos, because my majority of my subscribers subscribe to me on a smartphone situation. So when they see the Apple AirPods Pro, they'll be like, I'm not going to click on it. Last time, everybody clicked on it. So for me, I really know that variety content does not necessarily sit, especially when he's starting off YouTube. If you're already towards, like, for example, like if you got Will Smith, like Will Smith is already famous. He came on a YouTube channel, everything is so fine because he's already Will Smith. Or if you are coming from a point whereby, like, for example, let's say you're a TikTok specialist, then you want to just come up with all these funny parody videos and stuff, stick to that. Suddenly, I know why you want to do a cooking video, no one will care. So like for Linora's, your case, when we had this conversation on the phone yesterday, I did mention is that your channel is very catered towards the fitness side. And also people are subscribing not only for your content, but it's also for you. That's because you already made a name for yourself before you even started YouTube. It's fine. But if you're somebody who's not well known, I'm not going to say nobody because it's like super rude to call anybody nobody, because everybody's somebody. If you're going to start off, you're going to start from scratch. Stick to your niche. Stick to what you love. That is the most important thing. Don't do for the sake, I do this, our client will come. No, do what you love, because once you do what you love, it will translate it into the video and people will get more engaged and will be subscribing for you on that. So content is one thing, content niche lah. And then this one is a bit more advanced, but I would touch this before we stop the video, because I don't know whether we're going to have this conversation later on in the future collaborations. Marketing, obviously, you need to promote. Start off with your friends and family. Force them to watch your videos. Force them. It's important because that's what I did. I used to sit down, watch my video now.
See, aren't you glad that now every time when yours comes out, I will go and support now. Yeah, actually, I did watch your AirPod video, and
I know you did. I also do the same for you, because you see, I know the amount of work that you go through. I can really relate. So that's why when I always constantly have these conversations with you, is because I want you to not go through what I went through. And I did not have any support. I get excited when I meet people like you, not only because you're a friend, but also because you are doing instead of just saying. I met a lot of people who said they're going to come up with a YouTube channel, but I'm not going to name names, but
don't need to.
They haven't. Yeah, so because to me it's like, and everybody thinks it's easy work. It's harder than typical corporate job. But you stick it in niche, like I said, marketing, just push it as much as possible. Try to leverage on your other social media platforms. Like what Linora you're doing is great. Like for example, like you promote your video on Instagram or any other platforms. If you're strong on Twitter, do that. I'm not strong on Twitter, but I am stronger on Instagram also. So always do callbacks. So like for example, a video is released, do one callback today, do another callback tomorrow. So there's a whole topic about this lab, but what I meant is that you release a video and you can't just sit down there, wait and pray to God, oh please somebody watch. You need to push it, right? So because you put so much of work there and you don't market it to your friends, like I said, just force your family lah, or force your boyfriend, girlfriend, or husband and say, hey, watch lah day. Kautim.
At least, even if they don't watch the whole thing, at least like skip. Okay, they watch. Yeah. It's a view.
Yeah. Be yourself, number one, and number two, it will take time. No matter how much, but you are so good as a host, it's different when it comes to talking in front of camera, because you got nobody to talk to. You don't have people talking back. Yes, exactly.
Yeah. Practice in front of the camera continuously whenever you can. See for yourself. I mean, if you feel weird, I think the front part is where you feel weird watching yourself speak on the camera, speak on the screen, then really think, why do you want to start a YouTube channel in the first place? If you have that weird sense with yourself,
Yeah.
you got to overcome that fear. You got to overcome that.
Yes,
That's personally
I
is an
totally agree.
excuse. It's an excuse.
Yeah.
You want to do it or
Betul.
not do it, get over it and start learning how to do constructive criticism on yourself.
Yes, because the thing is that, yeah, you're absolutely right. That is like your so-called roadblock, right? Because for me, um, okay, I think this would differ when it comes to music, maybe, because music, maybe some people like, oh my God, I can't listen to my music in front of somebody else. But when it comes to videos, you must be able to rewatch your videos to see where you've done wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Like after you've done it, don't like watch like 5 years later and then go like, oh my God, that is fine. But if you just finish editing a video and you before you export it, if you're going to look back and go like, oh my God, then yeah, you need to make sure that part is done. Be
Yeah.
comfortable in your own skin, lah. Then I think everything should follow. Oh, speaking of which, only share with them after it's out. Don't share with them before it's out because everybody got their own opinions. Then you'll be like, okay lah, maybe I will adjust here, adjust there. Don't listen to people. You can get some feedback, but take it with a pinch of salt. Then it's done. Don't, before you release, ayo, but this fella said not good lah. This fella, my first video has to be perfect. No such thing. When I look back at my first video, I laugh. The color is so oversaturated. My sharpen level is so karat. And I was looking at the camera like this. Hey, what's up, guys? Adam Lobo here from Adam Lobo TV. And in this video, I'm like, what am I doing? Are you looking at my what? Tekak? So,
what were you doing? Why were you like that?
I don't know. If you watch my first video, you'll laugh.
I'm gonna go watch. I'm gonna go watch now.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. So for me, it's like my first video, I was talking about a smart bulb, which I love, the Lifex one. I was like that. And the color was off. I'm talking like, don't know what. There's no energy. What I'm saying is in a nutshell is that it is a constant learning process for me. So like even yesterday when I released the AirPods video, it was not as straightforward because I shot in 2 different locations because I was getting bored of doing the same place. So I went outside at the studio hall area and did some shots there. And that was the challenge because I had to color grade the floods and suddenly the sun go damn bright, something go low. So yeah, so to me it's like, the better you get is the only way you can get better is for you to constantly practice and come out content lah. So other than marketing, I guess another 2 more things is one is actually related to the both of us right now is collaborations. Collaborate with as much people as you can. But remember, there's a so-called rule of thumb, I would say, in terms of collaboration. Always when you want to approach people to collaborate with, make sure you give them value in terms of, if you don't canal them, like for me and you, we are very well close friends, so it's fine. But you must tell why you want to collaborate, and you must say, what is your aim, and if you get it, man, it's fine. So collaboration is very important to split your audience, and because for all you know, some people may be a tech lover and a fitness lover who's watching this and be like, I want to subscribe to Linora and Adam Lobo. Or some people just on the fitness content and say, nah, I don't want some tech stuff. Or could be vice versa. I love tech stuff, but I don't like to work out or some stuff like that. So collaborations are important. And finally, when it comes to sponsors and making money, money is good, obviously, but guys and everyone is watching, one thing which I always put my foot on the ground is that no matter how much you get a sponsor, always try to, not try like, if possible, be honest. Because if you're going to just say all the good stuff about every single product or anything that you do, it's a paid sponsorship, but you need to be looking from the subscriber's perspective and see why they watched your video. Are they watching an advertisement or they're watching really a review? So this is basically review channels lah. So for me, it's like you can have sponsors, but try to be as honest as you can. Be yourself. Like for me, what's my funny thing? You see, like now when I speak very like Indian. I don't have like a radio voice, right? I can sing, but I don't have like a radio accent. I don't sound like an American fella or like a UK guy or Australian guy. Maybe I'll do better then. But eventually that was one of the funny things that why I did not release my first video, because I'll be like, oh my God, I sound so Indian. But I was like, you know what? I'll just release it lah, because that's me. What people canal me as that kind of person. So even my YouTube videos also started off like I was trying to be prim and proper in terms of my tone of voice. But right now I just talk like how I'm talking to you. So I guess that is also important in terms of your tonality of your voice. And I think some tonality of voice, but actually in a nutshell, just be yourself in the camera. Once people see that you're comfortable being in your own skin, then people will subscribe to you and love you for how you are. Lah.
This is it for the entire video. I really hope that you learned stuff from Adam, and do check out his channel because there are a lot of great reviews that he's got on phones to laptops to tablets to whatever gadget lah. You can just find him over there. And as he says, be yourself. As much as it's cliche, I also agree. Be yourself when you want to create content and do the thing that you really love because that's the one that's going to come out from your eyes and from your heart when you speak it. Stay safe, stay blessed, stay at home for the time being, and may the games be forever in your favor. Adam, high five. High five. High five. High five.
You know what, Linora? Correct me if I'm wrong. Lah. Once you finish the video, the sense of kepuasan, how is that sense of kepuasan?
Oh, it's so nice, man. You don't know,
Right?
especially when I figure out why there was
Yeah.
an error. Every time when I got issues with rendering, Edna Nora will come out. This is Edna Nora.
I tell you, all I want to do is render my video. I have an iMac and a MacBook Pro, but you're telling me that I have an issue for Final Cut Pro X on both computers? Why lah, you tell me? Why? Even my face is so white. Why? Edna Nora is back because she got this. Wow.